Now, we will deep dive into capital gains on the sale of unlisted shares, specifically under Section 112, subsection 1, clause C. Okay, so we know that assets can be classified as short-term or long-term assets depending on their holding period. Okay, so it says subsection 2, subsection 42A speaks about holding period, right? Holding period. In this, if the assets that are being transferred are equity shares, holding period is 12 months. I mean, listed equity shares. Pardon me. Listed equity shares, the holding period is 12 months. That means if you hold equity shares, listed equity shares for more than 12 months, the resultant capital gain or loss will be long-term capital gain or loss. Okay, it will become a long-term capital asset. So similarly, for unlisted shares, the period of holding will be 24 months. So if you hold the unlisted shares for more than 24 months, it will become a long-term capital asset. The resultant capital gain or loss will be long-term capital gain or loss. Okay, so this is how we calculate the period of holding based on section 242 subsection B, 242A. I'm sorry. Now, let's come to the discussion. Section 112, subsection 1, clause C. It says three things. Okay, it says that unlisted securities are to be transferred, number one. Number two is at a flat rate of 10%. Then next section is no indexation benefit. So we'll discuss each branch in detail. So what we say is the shares that the capital asset that we are dealing with here is unlisted shares. So think about it. Unlisted shares, if held for more than 24 months, it becomes a long-term capital asset, right? So we deal with only long-term capital assets which are unlisted shares. That is the first thing. Next thing is the resultant capital gain on transfer will be taxed at a flat rate of 10%. So that is the second thing. If that is a flat rate of 10%, please also remember that CIF will be calculated at 4% on the tax separately, not on the whole part of the question. Okay, separately for this capital gain alone. Okay, the third thing is that even though you hold the shares for more than 2 years, even though if it is a long-term capital gain, no indexation benefit will be provided. Okay, so there is no indexation benefit for this. So the bare wording in simpler terms is, in case of long-term capital gains from a transfer of unlisted securities, tax shall be charged at 10% of such gains computed without giving effect to the first and second provisos of section 48. Okay, so this is what it says. Now the next question is, who does it apply to? Okay, it applies to both residents and non-residents. Okay, now next question is, it is applicable only to the sale of unlisted shares. It is not applicable to debentures or any other kind of debt or listed securities that we have discussed first itself. Okay, it is only on sale of unlisted shares. Okay, so now there is a question. What if I transfer the unlisted shares at a very low price, for example, 10 rupees per share, but you would have purchased for 100 rupees or something like that. Okay, just to avoid tax, you want to transfer it for a very low price. So that is not possible because Section 50 CA kicks in. Section 50 CA kicks in. As we discussed in the first part in JDA capital gains, we discussed Section 50C. Section 50CA and Section 50C are ditto similar, ditto same, except for the case that Section 50C deals with stamp duty value, Section 50CA deals with fair market value. Okay, in this question, Section 50CA says, if the sale consideration is less than the fair market value, then that fair market value shall be deemed as the full value of consideration. So, sale consideration is less than F1V. It means full value of consideration will be F1V. Section 50C said if sale consideration is less than SDV, full value of consideration equals SDV, stamp duty value. So this is where the difference is, but these are similar provisions. Okay, F1V will be determined through Rule 11 UAA. Okay, will be valued by merchant banker or prescribed methods such as NAV of securities, so and so and so forth. Okay, so this is done. Now let's talk about a special proviso to section 48. Proviso to section 48. Very simple, guys. Okay, nothing different. Here also indexation benefit will not apply. Just what happens is if unlisted shares pertaining to an Indian company traded in India or available only in India. For example, to say it in a literal term, okay, domestic shares or debentures of Indian companies. You cannot purchase an ADR from America, or you cannot purchase any other share or debenture from any other foreign exchange. Okay, if you are purchasing any share or debenture of Indian companies which are acquired in foreign currency, using foreign currency, then you can compute capital gains in foreign currency. You can compute capital gains in foreign currency and convert it into INR. Based on exchange rate prevalent on date of transfer. For example, I'm just saying, okay, full value of consideration is $10,000. Cost of acquisition is $7,000. Okay. Now, LTCG is $3,000. Now, LTCG in rupees, okay, will be, just imagine that, USD on date of transfer would be 80. Okay, $1 is rupees 80. Just imagine. Okay, so it will be 3,000 into 80, which is 24. 2,40,000. Okay, so this is how we calculate. Okay, tax for NRIs who purchase Indian securities using foreign currency. This is basically a benefit provided to protect non-residents from forex volatility. Okay, because they don't have to worry about what was the exchange rate on the date of sale, on the date of purchase. So to include the cost of acquisition, cost of everything and all. On the sale date, what is the exchange rate? Just apply, convert it into Indian rupees. That's all. Now let's see two scenarios where, to understand this provision even more better. Okay, so just imagine there is a person called Rohit. Okay, he is an Indian resident. Okay, just imagine he bought 10,000 shares in 2016. I mean, shares means here I'm saying it's a shares of a private limited company or a closely held company, unlisted shares basically. Okay, at 50 per share. So the cost would be 5 lakhs. Then he inherited 5,000 shares from his father, which was purchased in 2002. Okay, at probably 10 rupees per share. Okay, now the total cost would be 50,000. I mean, for this inheritance alone. Now the entire portfolio cost is total cost is 5,50,000. Okay, now the sale consideration. What happens is now he sells all 15,000 shares. Okay, at 150 per share. What is the sale consideration here? It will be 22 lakhs 50,000. Okay. Now, merchant banker values FMB as 200 per share. What happens now? The FMB becomes 30 lakhs. Now, LTCG, full value of consideration, is deemed to be 30 lakhs because 50 CA kicks in, right? Minus cost of acquisition is 5,50,000 because there is no indexation benefit available. Now LTCG is 24,50,000. Tax, flat rate tax at 10% is 2,45,000, and cess at 4% will be 9,800. Total tax will come out to be 254,800. Okay, so this is one scenario. Let's take another scenario. There is another person called Arjun. He is an NRI. Okay, he purchases everything in foreign currency. Just assume he bought 8,000 shares at $1.5 in 2014. So total cost comes to $12,000. He sold all the shares for $40,000. Okay, now it says LTCG will be $28,000. Correct? Convert it into, just imagine when exchange rate was $1 equal to 75 rupees. Okay. Now LTCG in rupees will be 21 lakhs. Same. Tax at 10% will be 2,10,000. Cess at 4% is 8,400. The total tax is 2,18,400. Here there is no section 50 CA is applicable because the sale happened at fair market value. Because on the date of transfer only, the exchange rate was calculated, everything was happened. So 2,18,400. Here no 50 CA will be applicable. So just to compare what happened now, okay, I'll just compare with these things. Feature, Rohit, Arjun. Okay. What says holding period? 8 years, 10 years. So unlisted, long-term capital asset, okay, long-term capital gains. So 112 subsection 1 clause C is applicable for both. Next, indexation. Not available. Okay. Then forex benefit. Not available. Yes. Okay. Next, 50 CA. Yes. No. Okay. Tax rate. 10%. Okay. So this is how we calculate. So regarding complaints, you know that you have to schedule G, you have to fill schedule G. CG, sorry, schedule CG, we have to in ITR 2 or 3. Okay. Then, you have to mention that, capital gains is under section 112, subsection 1, clause C. Then also the disclose in FA register, schedule FA for foreign assets. Foreign assets. Okay, foreign assets. And provide your PAN, mode of payment, mode of acquisition, everything. Mode of acquisition, FMV calculation, everything. Okay. So the key takeaways here is section 112 subsection 1 clause C imposes a 10% LTCG tax on unlisted shares without indexation. Okay. So next is section 50 CA ensures that the sale isn't done below fair market value by treating fair market value as sale price. Proviso to section 48 offers forex protection to NRIs leading to tax savings. Okay. So this is section 112 subsection 1 clause C.